No, please, I didn't hear anything. I swear. Zara Chen's voice cracked as zip-tie restraints bit into her wrists. Two masked men dragged her across polished marble floors toward a semicircle of expensive suits. The Rossetti Mafia Council. Chandeliers cast dancing shadows across faces she'd never seen before tonight, but their cold stares promised violence. She was outside the warehouse door for 20 minutes, the taller captor growled, shoving her forward. Heard everything about the Montenegro shipment. I was lost. Zara's sneakers squeaked against marble as she stumbled. My GPS died. I needed directions. Bullshit. A silver-haired man at the center table leaned forward. You work for the feds? I'm a graphic designer. I don't even know who you people are. The man at the head of the table raised his hand. One word from him, and she'd disappear forever. Her heart hammered against her ribs as every eye in the ballroom focused on her trembling form. I should have turned around the moment I saw those black cars. But I didn't. And before I tell you how that single decision pulled me into a world where diamonds mean death and protection comes with a price, subscribe to Mystic Tale by Luna. Because some secrets are too dangerous to keep buried, and what happens next will change everything you think you know about survival. Enough. The voice cut through tension like silk over steel. Every head turned toward a younger man seated at the far right of the council table. Min Jun Park rose with fluid grace, his tailored black suit immaculate despite the chaos surrounding them. Dark eyes assessed Zara with calculating precision. She's mine. Silence crashed over the ballroom like a physical weight. Min Jun reached into his jacket, extracting a black velvet box. The diamond ring inside caught chandelier light, throwing rainbow fragments across marble walls. What the hell are you doing, Park? Silver hair snarled. Min Jun walked toward Zara with predatory calm, each step echoing off vaulted ceilings. Her captors loosened their grip, uncertainty flickering across masked faces. This woman is my fiancée. His fingers were surprisingly gentle as he slipped the massive diamond onto her trembling ring finger. Touch her, and you declare war with me. Gasps rippled through the council. Phone cameras emerged from pockets, recording every second. Zara stared at the ring, easily 6 carats, flawless clarity, as her world tilted sideways. That's impossible, another council member protested. We've never seen her before. Have you seen everything I do? Min Jun's tone carried lethal undertones. My private life remains private for good reason. The ring felt impossibly heavy on Zara's finger, like a shackle disguised as jewelry. She opened her mouth to protest, but Min Jun's slight headshake stopped her cold. His message was clear. Play along or die here. Park, this is highly irregular. Is it? Min Jun turned to address the full council, one arm sliding protectively around Zara's waist. Since when do we require council approval for personal relationships? Unless someone here wishes to challenge my authority. The threat hung in air thick enough to choke on. These men feared him, genuinely feared him. Zara felt the shift in power dynamics like electricity across her skin. Social media is already recording, someone muttered, waving their phone. This is going viral in real time. Min Jun smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Perfect. The world should know she's under my protection. He offered his arm like a gentleman escorting his date to dinner rather than claiming ownership in a criminal council. Zara hesitated, every instinct screaming warnings, before accepting the crook of his elbow. What choice did she have? Gentlemen. Min Jun nodded toward the council, with mock courtesy. We'll be leaving now. Unless anyone objects. The silence stretched until it became answer enough. Together, they walked toward the ballroom's massive doors. Council members parted like the Red Sea, phones still recording, whispers following in their wake. This isn't over, Park, Silverhair called after them. Min Jun paused without turning. It never is. The doors closed behind them with finality that echoed through Zara's bones. She'd just become the most famous woman in the criminal underworld, and she didn't even know her fake fiancé's full name. A black Mercedes waited outside, engine purring. Min-jun opened the passenger door with old-world courtesy that seemed bizarrely out of place given the circumstances. Get in. I don't. Get in, or they'll change their minds about letting you leave. Zara slid into leather seats that probably cost more than her annual salary. Min-jun settled behind the wheel, immediately activating privacy partition and tinted windows. The moment they pulled away from the mansion, Zara exploded. What the hell just happened? She clawed at the ring, twisting it frantically. I am not your fiancé. This is kidnapping. This is survival. Min-jun's voice remained maddeningly calm as he navigated through midnight traffic. You were 30 seconds from execution when I claimed you. Claimed me? Fury burned through fear. I'm not property. I'm not something you can just... In their eyes, you are now. He met her gaze in the rearview mirror. That ring marks you as mine. It's the only thing keeping you breathing. Zara yanked harder at the diamond band, but it wouldn't budge past her knuckle. Panic clawed at her throat. Take it off. Take it off right now. It's sized to your finger. Perfectly fitted. Min-jun turned onto a highway leading deeper into the city. I had it made 3 weeks ago. Ice flooded her veins. 3 weeks? But you said you acted like I'd never seen you before? His smile was sharp as broken glass. I said she was my fiancée. I never said when I'd met her. The city lights blurred past windows as reality crashed over her. This wasn't random. This wasn't coincidence. She'd been selected, studied, prepared for like a business acquisition. You planned this. Her voice came out as barely a whisper. The whole thing. My GPS dying, getting lost, ending up at that warehouse. Your GPS was hacked. My men guided you to that location. The council needed to see you in danger, so my claim would be believable. Betrayal tasted like copper pennies on her tongue. You used me as bait. I saved your life. You ruined it. Tears she refused to shed burned behind her eyes. I had a life. I had. You had nothing. His words cut like scalpels. Dead-end job, studio apartment, 70,000 in student debt, no family, no close friends. I did my research, Zara-chan. Hearing her full name from his lips felt like violation. How do you know everything about you? It's what I do. The Mercedes glided through empty streets toward towering glass buildings. You were perfect for what I needed, invisible enough that no one would miss you immediately, but compelling enough to make my claim believable. And what exactly do you need? Rage was better than terror. Rage made her feel less powerless. Min-jun pulled into an underground garage beneath a skyscraper that seemed to pierce the clouds. Security cameras tracked their movement while armed guards nodded respectfully at the Mercedes. He turned to face her fully, and for the first time, she saw something almost human flicker behind those calculating dark eyes. Something that might have been regret. I needed a weakness they could see, but never exploit. A vulnerability that would make me appear more human while actually making me more dangerous. His fingers drummed against the steering wheel. Congratulations, Zara. You're now the most protected woman in the criminal underworld. And the most hunted. The engine died, plunging them into silence broken only by her ragged breathing. You saved my life, she whispered, the truth settling like lead in her stomach. His dark eyes met hers in the mirror's reflection, and she saw something that made her blood freeze. No. I bought it. Holy shit, look at this. Marcus Torres, Min-jun's lieutenant, thrust his phone screen toward the penthouse's floor-to-ceiling windows. The device buzzed with incoming notifications, hundreds per second, an endless cascade of digital chaos. Min-jun barely glanced up from his laptop. Define this. You're trending worldwide. Hashtag Mafia fiancé just hit 10 million mentions. Marcus scrolled frantically through feeds. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, every platform's exploding. That ballroom video got leaked everywhere. Zara looked up from the designer couch, where she'd been sulking for the past hour, still wearing yesterday's jeans and the diamond ring she couldn't remove. What video? The one where Prince Charming here claimed you like a prize heifer. Marcus tossed his phone onto the marble coffee table. Congratulations, sweetheart. You're more famous than the president's daughter. The phone screen displayed her terrified face as Minjun slipped the ring onto her finger. Comments flooded past faster than she could read, some calling her lucky, others calling her dead. Marriage proposals mixed with death threats in a social media hellscape. Turn it off, Minjun commanded without looking up. Can't turn off the internet, boss. BBC just picked it up. CNN's running your engagement as breaking news. International Mafia families are sending congratulations or condolences, depending on their relationship with you. Zara snatched the phone, watching herself become a viral sensation in real time. Memes already featured her face photoshopped onto movie posters. Fan accounts had sprouted overnight, dissecting her outfit choices and speculating about their wedding date. This is insane. Her voice cracked as notification numbers climbed past 15 million. People think we're actually engaged. Minjun finally closed his laptop, dark eyes finding hers across the room. We are fake engaged. The ring on your finger isn't fake. The legal documents I filed this morning aren't fake. The world watching us isn't fake. He stood, moving toward her with predatory grace. Reality is what people believe, Zara. And they believe you're mine. Marcus cleared his throat. Speaking of reality, we've got problems. The Kozlov family sent flowers with a note. Congratulations on your last engagement. The Morettas are claiming territorial violations since you didn't ask permission to marry. And the Yakuza want a formal introduction to your bride. Handle it. Which part? The flowers, the territories, or the introduction request? All of it. Minjun's tone brooked no argument. Standard diplomatic responses. The wedding will be private, guest list by invitation only. Zara's head snapped up. Wedding. 3 weeks from now. St. Catherine's Cathedral, downtown. I've already made arrangements. The phone slipped from her numb fingers, clattering onto marble. You can't be serious. 17 news crews are stationed outside this building. Every restaurant in the city is calling about catering our rehearsal dinner. The mayor wants to perform the ceremony personally. Minjun retrieved his laptop, already moving toward his home office. We're past the point of pretending this isn't happening. But we don't even. Zara scrambled to her feet as he walked away. I don't know your middle name.
James.
Minjun James Park. Born in Seoul, raised in Chicago, graduated Harvard Business School before taking over family operations. He paused at the office doorway. You'll find a complete dossier on your bedside table. Memorize it. Reporters will test your knowledge. The office door closed with quiet finality, leaving Zara alone with Marcus, who was already back to scrolling through social media coverage. Welcome to the family, princess. Marcus didn't look up from his screen. Hope you like living in glass houses. The elevator to the penthouse required biometric scanning, fingerprint, retina, voice recognition. Zara discovered this when she tried to leave an hour later, pressing her palm against the reader that refused to acknowledge her existence. System doesn't recognize you yet, Marcus explained, approaching with a steaming coffee mug. Boss ordered you added to security protocols tomorrow. What if there's an emergency? Then you call me, or you wait. He handed her the coffee, perfectly prepared with cream, no sugar, exactly how she preferred it. Relax. This place is safer than Fort Knox. The penthouse stretched across the building's entire 42nd floor, featuring bulletproof windows and reinforced steel beneath elegant furnishings. Every doorframe hid metal detectors. Motion sensors tracked movement through rooms that cost more than most people's houses. Zara felt like a museum exhibit under constant surveillance. I need to call my job. Tell them I'm sick or already handled. You've been granted extended medical leave due to stress-related complications following a traumatic incident. Marcus settled into an armchair, weapon visible beneath his jacket. Official story is you're recovering at an undisclosed location. That's not far from the truth. Bitterness crept into her voice as she wandered toward the kitchen, hoping for something resembling normalcy. The refrigerator was stocked with expensive organic foods she'd never heard of. Even the water came from some Swiss glacier. Could be worse places to recover. Marcus gestured around the luxury surrounding them. Most people would kill for this lifestyle. Most people weren't kidnapped into it. You weren't kidnapped. You were rescued. Zara whirled to face him. From what? From being nobody. His expression remained neutral, but something in his tone suggested personal experience. Min-jun doesn't claim people randomly. He saw potential in you that you don't see in yourself. What potential? I design logos for small businesses. I live paycheck to paycheck. I'm nobody special. Special enough that he risked war with 3 Mafia families to protect you. Marcus stood, checking his phone as new messages arrived. Special enough that he's willing to marry you publicly, making you a permanent target for every enemy he's ever made. The weight of that reality settled over her like lead. Every enemy he'd ever made would now consider her a weakness to exploit. Her ordinary life had become a death sentence the moment he slipped that ring onto her finger. I want to go home. This is home now. Marcus's voice wasn't unkind, but it was final. Your old apartment was compromised 6 hours ago. Someone broke in, tore the place apart looking for information about your relationship with Min-jun. Neighbors told police they saw your engagement on the news. Zara's legs gave out, sending her crashing onto the leather sofa. Her life, her real life, was being dismantled piece by piece while she sat trapped in a golden cage. If you're watching this thinking I would have done the same thing, subscribe to Mystic Tale by Luna. Because the choice she's about to make will change 3 lives forever. And, honestly, after what I'm about to tell you, you might question if you really would have been strong enough to survive what comes next. The attack came at 3 a.m. through the penthouse's supposedly impenetrable security system. Zara woke to the sound of breaking glass, her heart hammering as emergency lights bathed the bedroom in pulsing red. The diamond ring caught the light, throwing bloody reflections across silk sheets as she sat up in confusion. Stay down. Min-jun burst through the bedroom door, fully dressed despite the late hour, gun drawn and expression deadly calm. He moved like someone accustomed to violence interrupting his sleep. What's happening? Someone got past external security. He pressed a second weapon into her hands, smaller than his, designed for untrained fingers. Do you know how to use this? I've never. Point and pull the trigger. Stay behind me. Sounds of combat echoed from the main living area. Furniture crashing, men shouting orders, the distinctive crack of gunfire. Marcus's voice rose above the chaos, coordinating defensive positions with other security personnel. Min-jun moved toward the bedroom door with military precision, using mirrors to check angles before exposing himself. Zara followed, the unfamiliar weight of the gun making her hands shake. How did they get in? Inside information. His jaw tightened as they reached the hallway. Someone gave them building schematics, security codes, patrol schedules. Betrayal from within his own organization. The realization hit her like ice water. If his own people couldn't be trusted, nowhere was truly safe. They crept through the penthouse's corridors, avoiding the main living areas where gunfire continued. Min-jun communicated with his team through hand signals, a silent language of war she couldn't understand. A figure emerged from the kitchen, weapon raised toward Min-jun's exposed back. Zara didn't think. Instinct took over as she raised her gun and fired. The intruder dropped, crimson spreading across white marble floors. Good shot. Min-jun's approval felt wrong given what she'd just done. First time killing someone? Zara stared at the body, waiting for guilt or horror that never came. Instead, she felt strangely empty, as if some fundamental piece of her humanity had simply switched off. Is that normal? Not feeling anything? For people like us? Yes. He reloaded his weapon with practiced efficiency. You're adapting faster than expected. People like us. When had she become people like him? The gunfire stopped abruptly, leaving only the hum of emergency lighting and their ragged breathing. Marcus appeared in the doorway, blood on his shirt but moving under his own power. 3 intruders down. 1 escaped through the service elevator. He surveyed the carnage with professional detachment. Professional job, military training, high-end equipment. How many people knew tonight's security rotation? Internal team only. Maybe 8 people. Marcus avoided Min Jun's gaze. All trusted personnel. Apparently not all. Min Jun's voice carried lethal undertones. I want everyone questioned. Separately. Tonight. Zara looked down at the gun still clutched in her hands, then at the man she'd killed to protect someone who'd kidnapped her life. The transformation was happening faster than she'd expected. Victim becoming predator, innocent becoming accomplice. How many families want me dead? Min Jun holstered his weapon, stepping over the body without looking down. All of them. The betrayer was found before sunrise. Marcus dragged the bound figure into Min Jun's home office, a space Zara had only glimpsed through open doorways. Now she sat in a leather chair, watching as the man who'd tried to have her killed knelt bleeding on Persian rugs. Tommy Chun, no relation despite the shared surname, had worked security for Min Jun for 3 years. Clean record, family man, 2 kids in private school. The money offered for Zara's location had been impossible to refuse. $50,000. Min Jun's voice remained conversational as he cleaned his hands with a silk handkerchief. That's what my fiancé's life was worth to you. They said they just wanted to scare her. Tommy's words came out through swollen lips. Make her leave voluntarily. No one was supposed to get hurt. No one except the 3 men who came armed with automatic weapons. Min Jun set the blood-stained handkerchief aside. Tell me who hired you. I don't know names. Payment came through encrypted channels, untraceable accounts. Tommy's eyes found Zara, pleading. Please, I've got kids. They threaten my family if I didn't cooperate. The familiar excuse, family first, loyalty second. Zara understood the motivation, even as she watched Min Jun's patience evaporate. So do I. Min Jun's gun appeared in his hand with fluid motion. My family consists of everyone under my protection. You betrayed that family for money. Wait. The gunshot echoed off office walls, final and decisive. Tommy crumpled forward, blood pooling beneath his face. Zara watched without flinching, her emotional numbness complete. Clean this up, Min Jun instructed Marcus. Standard message to other families. This is the cost of targeting what's mine. Marcus nodded, already reaching for his phone to summon the disposal team. Bodies vanished regularly in this world, she realized. People disappeared, and life continued as if they'd never existed. Was that necessary? Zara asked after Marcus left. Yes. Min Jun reloaded his weapon, muscle memory making the action automatic. Mercy is interpreted as weakness. Weakness invites more attacks. And the message? That you're not just protected, you're family. Harming you carries the same consequences as harming me directly. He returned the gun to its holster, expression softening slightly. The wedding invitation will be sent today. Every major crime family will receive one, along with a very clear understanding of what attendance means. What does it mean? Recognition of our union. Acceptance of you as my equal partner in all business dealings. Min Jun moved to the office window, gazing down at the city that served as his kingdom. After we're married, killing you becomes an act of war against our entire organization. Protection through marriage, safety through ceremony. The logic was twisted, but undeniably effective. And if someone still tries? He turned back to her, and for the first time since their bizarre engagement began, she saw genuine emotion in his dark eyes. Something that might have been affection or possession or both. Then I burned their world down. The wedding invitation arrived in a silver envelope, hand-delivered by armed courier to every major crime family across 3 continents. Zara held the elegant cardstock, reading her own name embossed in gold script beside his. Mr. and Mrs. Park request the honor of your presence, she read aloud. Black tie required, weapons discouraged, but not prohibited. Insurance policy, Min Jun explained, adjusting his tie in the bathroom mirror. Public ceremony makes our union official in both legal and criminal circles. What if they don't come? They'll come. Refusing would be considered an insult worthy of retaliation. He emerged from the bathroom, immaculate in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her former annual salary. Besides, they're curious about you. The woman who captured the most eligible bachelor in organized crime. Eligible bachelor. As if he were some society page playboy instead of a killer who'd claimed her like property. Proof she's yours. Marcus read from his tablet. Or die together as frauds. The ultimatum came from the Kozlov family this morning. They're demanding public proof of your relationship's legitimacy. Min Jun's jaw tightened. What kind of proof? Traditional Russian wedding customs. Public consumption of the marriage, witnessed by family representatives. Marcus looked uncomfortable delivering the message. They want to verify the bride's authenticity. Heat flooded Zara's cheeks as the implications sank in. They want to watch us consummate the marriage. Yes. Min Jun's voice remained steady, but she caught the tension in his shoulders. Standard practice for political alliances in their culture. I'm not doing that. Then we die. His bluntness cut through her embarrassment. The Kozlovs have 6 families backing their challenge. If we refuse, they'll claim the marriage is fraudulent and move against us together. Marcus cleared his throat. There might be another option. Traditional hand-fasting ceremony instead of consumption. Binding blood ritual witnessed by representatives from each family. Permanent, irreversible, but private. Blood ritual. The words sent chills down Zara's spine, but anything was preferable to public humiliation. What does it involve? Ceremonial cutting of palms, mixing blood while speaking binding vows. Once completed, the union cannot be dissolved except by death. Min Jun studied her face carefully. It would make you my wife in every sense that matters to them. Real marriage. Real commitment. Real point of no return. Zara looked down at the diamond ring that had started this nightmare, then at the man who'd bought her life with it. 6 months ago, she'd been nobody special. Now she stood at the center of an international criminal conspiracy, holding the power to start or prevent a war. When do we do it? Tomorrow night. The wedding reception has been moved to accommodate the ceremony. Min Jun's expression revealed nothing, but his voice carried undertones she couldn't interpret. Once this happens, there's no going back to your old life. You understand that? She nodded, surprised by how little the prospect frightened her. Her old life felt like a distant memory, someone else's story. The woman who designed logos and worried about student loans was gone, replaced by someone harder and infinitely more dangerous. I understand. The silver envelope fell to the floor as she turned toward the bedroom, already planning what to wear to her own binding. Behind her, she heard Min Jun speaking quietly to Marcus about security arrangements and contingency plans. Tomorrow night, she would cease to be Zara Chen entirely. Mrs. Park would be born in blood and witnessed by monsters, a transformation as complete as any religious ceremony could provide. The thought should have terrified her. Instead, it felt like coming home. I can't do this anymore. Zara's voice broke as she collapsed onto the penthouse balcony floor, 20 stories above the glittering city. The diamond ring caught moonlight, throwing fractured rainbows across tear-streaked cheeks. 3 days since the attack, and she hadn't slept more than an hour at a time. Min Jun found her there at 2 a.m., wrapped in one of his expensive robes, shivering despite the warm night air. He approached slowly, as if she were a wounded animal that might bolt. The nightmares? Every time I close my eyes, I see Tommy's face. The way he looked at me before you. She pressed palms against her eyes, trying to block out memories that wouldn't fade. I killed someone, and I felt nothing. What does that make me? Alive. Min Jun settled beside her on the cold concrete, his usual pristine appearance replaced by rumpled clothes and exhaustion. The first kill is always the hardest to process. First kill? Hysteria crept into her laughter. You think there'll be more? In this world? Yes. His honesty was brutal, but not unkind. The choice isn't whether you'll kill again, it's whether you'll let guilt destroy you when you do. Zara studied his profile in the darkness. Even disheveled, he carried himself with lethal grace that spoke of violence as natural as breathing. How many people had he killed? How many lives had he taken without losing sleep? How old were you when you first killed someone? 12. The admission came without hesitation or shame. My father's business partner tried to rape my sister. I put a kitchen knife through his throat. The casual way he spoke about childhood violence made her stomach clench. Jesus. My father praised me for protecting family honor. Said it proved I had the strength to inherit his empire. Min Jun's jaw tightened. 3 years later, that same sister overdosed on heroin to escape the nightmares. Turns out killing her attacker didn't actually protect her. It just taught me that violence was love. Understanding crashed over her like cold water. The calculated control, the emotional distance, the way he claimed people like possessions, all armor built around a 12-year-old boy who'd learned that love meant killing. I'm sorry, don't be. It made me who I am. He turned to face her fully. But it also means I understand what you're going through. The emptiness where guilt should be? That's survival, not sociopathy. How do you know the difference? Sociopaths don't question their lack of feeling. They enjoy it. His fingers ghosted over her tear-stained cheeks. You're crying for a man who sold your location for money. That's not emptiness. That's compassion you can't afford in this life. The gentleness in his touch contradicted everything she knew about him. This man had executed Tommy without hesitation, yet he sat with her through nightmares like a concerned lover. Why did you really choose me? The question tumbled out before she could stop it. Don't say it was strategic. Don't say I was convenient. Min Jun was quiet for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. When he finally spoke, his voice carried unfamiliar vulnerability. You smiled at the barista who got your coffee order wrong.
Twice.
Most people would have complained, but you thanked her and left a tip anyway. He looked out over the city lights. I'd been watching you for weeks, studying your routines, your reactions. That morning convinced me you had something I'd lost.
What?
The ability to choose kindness when it costs you something. His smile was sadder than she'd ever seen it. In my world, kindness is weakness. Mercy gets you killed. But you chose compassion automatically, without calculating the benefit. Tears started fresh as the weight of his confession settled between them. He'd seen goodness in her that she couldn't see in herself, and he destroyed her old life to preserve it. I lost everything because I was nice to a barista? You lost nothing that mattered and gained protection from people who would have killed you for witnessing what you witnessed. His hand found hers, thumb tracing over the diamond ring. The question is whether you can forgive me for saving you against your will. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely hold the phone. Have you ever felt that moment when everything you believed just shatters? Tell me in the comments, because right now, I need to know I'm not the only one who's been this terrified and still found the courage to keep fighting. I want to learn. The words surprised them both. Zara straightened, wiping tears from her cheeks as determination replaced despair. Learn what? Everything. How to protect myself, how to survive in your world, how to be worthy of the protection you've given me. She met his gaze steadily. I don't want to be a liability anymore. Something shifted in Min Jun's expression, surprise giving way to something warmer, more approving. Training starts tomorrow. The penthouse gym occupied an entire floor, equipped with everything from traditional weights to combat simulation equipment. Min Jun led her through the space at 6 a.m., both dressed in workout clothes that somehow made him look more dangerous, not less. Basic principle: in close combat, technique beats strength every time. He positioned her in front of floor-to-ceiling mirrors that reflected their movements from every angle. Your attackers will underestimate you because you're small and female. Use that assumption against them. His hands guided her into fighting stance, adjusting her posture with clinical precision that somehow felt intensely intimate. The heat of his body behind hers sent electric shocks through her nervous system. Focus, he murmured against her ear. Distraction gets you killed. Hard to focus when you're breathing down my neck. Then learn to compartmentalize. Attraction and survival occupy different parts of your brain. Train them separately. Easier said than done when his fingers traced along her spine, correcting her posture with touches that lingered longer than strictly necessary. Show me how to disarm someone. First, avoidance. Don't let them get close enough to grab you. He demonstrated footwork, moving with predatory grace across padded floors. Second, if they do get close, hurt them before they hurt you. He came at her slowly, telegraphing his movements so she could follow along. The mock attack ended with her knee driving toward his groin while her elbow aimed for his throat.
Good.
Again, faster. They ran through the sequence repeatedly, his attacks becoming more realistic each time. Sweat dampened her shirt as muscle memory began forming, transforming her from victim to potential threat. "Why are you really teaching me this?" she panted during a water break. "Because I won't always be there to protect you." His honesty was sharp as broken glass. "The wedding makes you a permanent target. You need to survive long enough for backup to arrive." "Backup?"
Me.
"Marcus. Anyone loyal to our family." He handed her a towel, his fingers brushing hers in the exchange. "But first, you survived the initial attack." They moved to weapons training, knives, guns, improvised weapons that could be found in any environment. Min-Jun was a patient teacher, correcting her grip and stance with hands that knew exactly how to kill but chose to teach instead. Knife fighting is about speed and surprise, not strength. He positioned the blade in her hand, his fingers wrapping around hers on the handle. Get in close, strike vital points, get out before they can retaliate. The lesson devolved as sexual tension became impossible to ignore. Their practice combat turned into a dance of attraction, bodies moving together in ways that had nothing to do with self-defense. "This is insane," she breathed as he pinned her against the gym wall, both breathing hard from exertion that wasn't entirely athletic. "What is?"
This. Us.
"The way you make me feel, when you should terrify me." His dark eyes searched her face, looking for something she wasn't sure she could give. "Do I terrify you?"
Yes.
"But not the way you think." Her hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer instead of pushing away. "I'm terrified of how much I want this to be real." The admission hung between them like live wire. Min-Jun's control wavered for the first time since she'd known him, predatory composure cracking to reveal hunger that matched her own. "It is real." His voice was rough as sandpaper. "The danger, the protection, the way I feel when someone threatens you, all of it's real." "And after the wedding?" "After the wedding, you're mine in ways that matter more than paperwork or ceremony." His lips hovered inches from hers, close enough that she could taste his breath. "The question is whether you want to be." Before she could answer, his phone rang with Marcus's ringtone. The spell shattered as duty reasserted itself, leaving them staring at each other across a chasm of unfinished business. "We should get that," she whispered. "We should." But he didn't move, didn't step back, didn't break the connection crackling between them. The phone stopped ringing. Started again immediately. "Duty calls," Min-Jun said finally, stepping away with visible effort. As he answered Marcus's call, Zara caught her reflection in the gym mirrors. The woman staring back looked stronger, more dangerous, fully capable of violence when necessary. The transformation was nearly complete. "Wedding dress fitting in an hour," Min-Jun announced after ending the call. "Media circus outside, security nightmare inside. Are you ready?" "As ready as someone can be to marry a stranger in front of the world's deadliest criminals." His smile was sharp as winter. "Good thing I'm not a stranger anymore." The bridal salon had been cleared of other customers, transformed into a fortress with armed guards at every entrance. Zara stood on a pedestal surrounded by mirrors while seamstresses fussed over a dress that cost more than most people's cars. "The neckline needs to accommodate a wire," Marcus explained to the head seamstress, speaking quietly, but not quietly enough. "And reinforced panels in case she needs to move quickly." "You're expecting trouble at a wedding?" The woman's accent was thick European, her expression professionally neutral despite discussing combat preparations. "We always expect trouble," Min-Jun replied from his position by the windows, watching the street for threats. "The question is whether we're prepared for it." Zara studied her reflection as fabric was pinned and adjusted. The dress was stunning, ivory silk that flowed like water, elegant enough for a society wedding but practical enough for a war zone. "Something borrowed," Marcus said, producing a small jewelry box. From your grandmother's collection. Inside lay antique pearl earrings, delicate and obviously precious. Min Jun's expression softened as he took the box, handling it with uncharacteristic gentleness. She wore these to her own wedding, survived 3 assassination attempts, and outlived 4 husbands. He fastened the earrings himself, his fingers surprisingly gentle against her neck. She would have liked you. Would have. Died last year. Cancer. Pain flickered across his features before professional composure reasserted itself. She taught me that strength and compassion aren't mutually exclusive. Another piece of the puzzle that was Min Jun Park. Beneath the killer lay a grandson who'd loved his grandmother, who carried her jewelry to honor her memory. Tell me about the ceremony, she said as seamstresses continued their work. What exactly happens during a hand fasting? Traditional vows exchanged while our palms are cut and pressed together, mixing blood while representatives from each family witness the binding. Min Jun moved closer, ostensibly to examine the dress alterations. Once completed, the union cannot be dissolved except by death. Death. Divorce doesn't exist in our world. Marriage is permanent. Either it works or one partner eliminates the other. His tone was conversational, as if discussing weather instead of murder. That's why these alliances are taken so seriously. The seamstresses finished their work, leaving them alone except for Marcus, who maintained respectful distance while monitoring security feeds on his tablet. Are you scared? Zara asked, watching Min Jun's face in the mirror. Of the ceremony?
No.
Of the responsibility that comes after? He met her gaze in the reflection. Terrified. His honesty surprised her. Why? Because for the first time in my life, I have something to lose that can't be replaced with money or power. His hands settled on her shoulders, warm through the silk fabric. You've become more than strategy, Zara. More than protection. And that makes you the most dangerous thing that's ever happened to me. Understanding flowed between them like current. They were both scared, both in deeper than they'd intended, both committed to a path that offered no exit except death. The guest list is finalized, Marcus announced, breaking the tension. 300 confirmed attendees, including representatives from every major crime family in North America and Europe. Security will be a nightmare. Weapons check at the door? Standard. But you know they'll find ways to smuggle things in anyway. Marcus looked up from his tablet. The Kozlov family specifically requested front-row seating for the blood ceremony. Give it to them. Let them see exactly what happens to people who challenge us. Min Jun's voice carried steel undertones. This wedding sends a message. She's not just my wife. She's my equal partner in everything. Equal partner. The words resonated through Zara's chest like struck bells. Not just protected property, but acknowledged authority in her own right. What does that mean, practically? It means you have voting rights in family decisions, access to all financial accounts, command authority over our security forces. Min Jun turned to face her directly. It also means you're responsible for the consequences of those decisions. The power and responsibility, privilege and danger, inextricably linked. The girl who designed logos was about to become a crime boss in her own right. I want to see the prenup. There isn't one. Min Jun's smile was sharp as razors. Marriage in our world means complete financial integration. What's mine becomes yours, and what's yours becomes mine. I don't have anything. You have my life in your hands. That's worth more than money. The weight of that truth settled over her like armor. Tomorrow night, she would hold the power to destroy or preserve the most dangerous man in the city. The responsibility was intoxicating and terrifying in equal measure. Last chance to run, Marcus offered, though his tone suggested he didn't expect her to take it. Zara looked at herself in the mirror, silk dress, pearl earrings, diamond ring that had started this transformation. The woman staring back looked capable of ruling an empire or burning it down, whichever seemed more appropriate. I'm not running. Her voice carried new authority, the tone of someone accustomed to being obeyed. I'm all in. Min Jun's smile was predatory approval. Then tomorrow night, The world meets its new queen. The choice had been made. Tomorrow, Zara Chen would die in blood and ceremony, replaced by someone harder, more dangerous, infinitely more powerful. Mrs. Park would be born from violence and witnessed by monsters. The thought no longer frightened her. It felt like destiny. That evening, Min-jun found her on the balcony again, but this time, she wasn't crying. Instead, she stood at the railing with champagne, watching the city lights twinkle below like stars fallen to earth. Second thoughts. Third and fourth thoughts, she admitted, accepting the second glass he offered. But not about the wedding.
About what?
About who I'm becoming. Whether the woman I was would recognize the woman I'm turning into. She sipped champagne that probably cost more per bottle than her former monthly salary. Is it wrong that I like her better? The new you? She's stronger. More decisive. She doesn't apologize for taking up space or ask permission to exist. Zara turned to study his profile in the moonlight. She's someone worthy of being your partner. You were always worthy. His voice carried conviction that surprised her. I just gave you permission to stop pretending otherwise. They stood in comfortable silence, watching their kingdoms spread out below. Tomorrow would bring ceremony and blood, vows and witnesses, transformation from pretense to reality. After tomorrow, there's no going back, she said finally.
No.
Good. Her smile was sharp as the diamond on her finger. I wouldn't want to. The woman who'd once worried about student loans and apartment rent was gone, replaced by someone who understood that power was the only currency that mattered. Tomorrow night, she would claim her place at the head of an empire built on violence and loyalty. The thought should have terrified her. Instead, it felt like coming home. Blood on ivory silk brings good luck in Russian tradition. Dmitry Kozlov's voice carried dark amusement as he observed Zara's wedding dress, already stained crimson from the ceremonial palm cutting. St. Catherine's Cathedral buzzed with barely contained violence, 300 of the world's deadliest criminals pretending to attend a romantic ceremony. Zara pressed her bleeding palm against Min-jun's, their mixed blood sealing vows that would bind them until death. The ancient hand-fasting ritual required no officiant, only witnesses willing to enforce the consequences of betrayal. By blood spilled and witnessed, Min-jun's voice carried across the cathedral's vaulted ceiling, I bind myself to you completely. By blood spilled and witnessed, Zara repeated, surprised by the steadiness of her own voice, I bind myself to you completely. The cathedral erupted in polite applause that couldn't quite mask the sound of weapons being checked and positions being secured. Every pew held enemies masquerading as wedding guests, their congratulations as hollow as their smiles. Beautiful ceremony, Elena Moretti commented from the front row, her designer gown concealing enough weapons to outfit a small army. Though I noticed the bride's security detail looks rather extensive. Marcus coordinated defensive positions through nearly invisible earpieces, his team scattered throughout the cathedral like deadly wedding decorations. Snipers held elevated positions while ground teams monitored every entrance. The first gunshot shattered stained glass windows. Chaos erupted as the cathedral transformed from wedding venue to battlefield. Guests dove for cover behind pews while drawing concealed weapons, their formal attire becoming camouflage for urban warfare. Stay low. Min-jun shoved Zara behind the marble altar as automatic weapons fire shredded flower arrangements. Marcus, status report. Multiple entry points compromised. Professional assault team, military-grade equipment. Marcus's voice crackled through gunfire. This isn't random. Someone planned this specifically for today. Zara's wedding dress hindered movement as she crawled across blood-stained marble, the ivory silk now decorated with crimson splatters that weren't entirely ceremonial. Her hand found the pistol concealed beneath layers of designer fabric, muscle memory from weeks of training taking over. How many? She shouted over the din of combat. At least 20 shooters. Coordinated attack pattern. Min-jun returned fire with deadly precision, each shot finding its target. Someone gave them detailed floor plans and security positions. The betrayal cut deeper than any blade. Someone within their inner circle had orchestrated this massacre, timing the assault for maximum symbolic impact. Their wedding had become a funeral. A masked gunman emerged from behind the cathedral's massive organ, weapon trained on Min Jun's exposed back. Zara didn't hesitate. Months of training crystallized into lethal instinct as she put 3 rounds center mass. Nice shooting, princess. Marcus appeared beside them, blood streaking his torn tuxedo. But we've got bigger problems. The assault team has rocket launchers. RPGs in a cathedral? Min Jun's laugh held no humor. Someone really wants us dead. The first explosive demolished the baptismal font, sending marble fragments whistling through air thick with cordite smoke. Wedding guests had abandoned all pretense of civilization, engaging in running firefights between centuries-old pews. Exit strategies? Zara asked, reloading with movements that were becoming automatic. Sacristy leads to underground tunnels, connects to the subway system. Marcus pointed toward the cathedral's rear. But we'll have to fight through their containment perimeter. Min Jun assessed the tactical situation with professional calm despite the carnage surrounding them. Dimitri's people are holding the north transept. Elena's crew has the south covered. If we can reach the sacristy. Another explosion, closer this time. Ancient stone crumbled as modern warfare desecrated sacred architecture. Who benefits from killing us both publicly? Zara's mind worked through possibilities even as she maintained covering fire. This isn't just assassination, it's theater. Someone who wants to send a message about challenging established power structures. Min Jun's expression darkened as understanding dawned. Someone who's been planning this longer than we realized. The assault team's coordination spoke of extensive preparation, detailed intelligence, intimate knowledge of their security protocols. This wasn't opportunistic violence, it was surgical elimination disguised as random chaos. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely hold the phone. Have you ever felt that moment when everything you believed just shatters? Tell me in the comments, because right now, I need to know I'm not the only one who's been this terrified and still found the courage to keep fighting. Marcus. Min Jun's voice carried deadly certainty. Check your 6. Marcus spun, weapon raised, but froze as recognition dawned. His own lieutenant, David Chun, stood behind him with military-issued assault rifle trained on their position. Sorry, boss. David's expression showed genuine regret. Nothing personal, but the old man pays better than loyalty. The old man? Confusion flickered across Marcus's features before horror replaced it. Your father ordered this? Min Jun's face went dead cold. Jehun Park doesn't approve of my choice in brides. The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. This wasn't random gang warfare, it was patricide, orchestrated by a father who viewed his son's marriage as weakness requiring correction. He offered me 10 million to ensure you both died during the ceremony. David kept his weapon trained on them while speaking. Public execution sends the right message about family loyalty. What message? Zara's voice carried ice that would have impressed Min Jun under different circumstances. That emotional attachments make you vulnerable. That love is liability in our business. David's smile was apologetic but determined. The old man says you've made his son soft. Min Jun's laugh was pure venom. Soft. 3 shots, so close together they sounded like one. David crumpled, his assault rifle clattering across marble as his betrayal earned its reward. Tell my father, Min Jun said to David's fading consciousness, that his soft son just ended his bloodline. Marcus stared at his fallen lieutenant, then at Min Jun with something approaching awe. Family business? Not anymore. Min Jun helped Zara to her feet, both moving with deadly purpose toward the sacristy. After today, there's only our family. The underground tunnels beneath St. Catherine's Cathedral stretched for miles, connecting to subway systems that could carry them anywhere in the city. But first, they had business to finish. Jehun Park waited in the cathedral's bell tower, orchestrating his son's execution like a conductor directing symphony orchestra. Age hadn't diminished his calculating intelligence or ruthless pragmatism, qualities Min Jun had inherited along with everything else. You survived. Jehun showed no surprise at their arrival, his expensive suit unmarked by violence that had claimed dozens below. I'm impressed. Are you? Min Jun's voice carried conversational pleasantness that fooled no one. Because you just declared war on your own son for the crime of finding happiness. I declared war on weakness. Jehun's gaze shifted to Zara, assessing her like expensive livestock. This woman makes you vulnerable, predictable. In our business, predictable means dead. Funny. Zara stepped forward, her blood-stained wedding dress and confident posture creating cognitive dissonance that unsettled even Jehun. Because your predictable need to control him just cost you everything. Understanding dawned in the old man's eyes. This wasn't just his son's bride. This was someone who understood power dynamics with uncomfortable clarity. You think you can replace family loyalty with romantic fantasy? I think I already have. Min Jun's weapon appeared in his hand with fluid motion. The question is whether you die quickly or slowly. Jehun Park had built an empire through calculated ruthlessness, but he'd made one critical error, underestimating the woman who'd transformed his son from heir into emperor. Kill him, Jehun begged from his knees, blood streaming from wounds that weren't immediately fatal. Prove you're one of us. Zara looked at Min Jun, then smiled with predatory satisfaction that would have made his grandmother proud. I already am. The gunshot echoed through the bell tower, final and decisive. Jehun Park's reign ended where it began, in violence orchestrated by family members who'd learned his lessons too well. 6 months later, their honeymoon period had settled into routine empire management from a mansion that made the penthouse look modest. Zara had adapted to queenship with natural authority that surprised everyone except Min Jun. The quarterly reports looked good, she announced during their morning security briefing, reviewing profit margins from various illegal enterprises. Drug distribution is up 12%, weapons trafficking is maintaining steady growth, and our legitimate businesses are providing excellent money laundering opportunities. Marcus nodded approvingly. The other families have accepted your authority remarkably quickly. Having you execute Jehun personally made quite an impression. Patricide has that effect. Zara signed documents that would determine life and death for hundreds of people, her signature now worth more than most people's lives. Any challenges to our territorial claims? The Kozlovs are testing boundaries in the Port District, but nothing serious. Marcus consulted his tablet. Should we send a message? Send flowers with a note. Zara's smile was sharp as winter. Congratulations on their recent territorial ambitions. Hope they're enjoying their last week of them. The transformation was complete. The woman who'd once designed logos now designed strategy for criminal empire that spanned 3 continents. Power suited her like expensive clothing, natural and undeniable. Anonymous package arrived this morning. Marcus produced a manila envelope, his expression troubled. No return address, but the postmark suggests it's been traveling for months. Inside, Zara found documents that made her blood freeze. Birth certificates, adoption records, DNA analysis reports, all bearing her name and information that couldn't possibly be accurate. What is it? Min Jun sensed her distress immediately. Her hands trembled as reality shifted beneath her feet. The pregnancy test in her other pocket showed positive, but these documents revealed something that would destroy everything they'd built. She wasn't some random woman who'd overheard criminal secrets. She wasn't an innocent victim who'd been saved by circumstance. She was Zara Volkov, daughter of Dmitry Kozlov's murdered brother, raised in witness protection after her family's assassination, her true identity hidden even from herself until this moment. The woman Min Jun had saved was actually his greatest enemy's niece, and she'd been hunting him long before he claimed her.